Hey everyone, welcome to Waxing Pixels, the gaming podcast hosted on Battle Geek Plus. My name is Josh, I'm still Josh, and with me as always I have Heather.
Hi.
Ryan.
Hey.
And Breath of the Frank.
That was good.
I came up with that right before I said your name, and you just came up with that.
Yes,
right
I
back.
did.
Perfect timing. That was very nice. Frank does not say much during the podcast, but he's always got something to come back at me with when I give him some dumb gaming-related name. How's everybody doing?
I'm full.
I'm good.
I'm playing Fallout 4, so that's something.
Weren't you playing Fallout 4 like the last couple of times?
Yeah, it's a big game.
It is a big
And
Yes,
game.
that's
it's
without
huge.
the download content stuff.
What about you, Heather? What are you playing?
I'm so close to finishing Apollo Justice. So close. And as I've played the game, I've become very disappointed with it. In general.
Why is that?
Really?
Well, I liked the notion of playing someone other than Phoenix Wright because then you get to interact with Phoenix as an NPC and, trying to figure out what he's been up to. And because he's a completely different person than whenever you play the original 3 games. And I really liked that. But the mechanics for this game didn't really like. I also don't like the sidekick character. I don't like Apollo. I don't like the prosecutor. It just,
Well, my problem with the game is you have a new character called Apollo, but most of the game is still about Phoenix Wright.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Like I said, that's one thing that I liked about it is like trying to figure out what he's been up to and why and what happened. And that's cool, but you're right. You're playing as Apollo Justice, but it's centered around Phoenix Wright still.
It's a game that's not really about Apollo. But the good thing is in parts 5 and 6, which are on the 3DS, Apollo gets way more fleshed out.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah.
good to know. So that's what I've been doing.
Ryan, what have you been playing?
See, yesterday I just beat Final Fantasy 15 under 20 hours.
4 guys in a car.
So Final Fantasy-like.
Yeah. Also, there is some kind of post-game content I can try to do. I might do it, I might not, but I might move on to Resident Evil Revelations 2, which I got for $10 about a week ago, and then next week Resident Evil 7 comes out, and you're gonna watch me play that on Twitch, and I will scream my ass off. And also, I've been
Yay.
playing Dragon Ball Fusions, and I just showed Josh and Frank the 5-way fusion.
The 5-way fusion was rather dirty, but
It
was
sounds
really,
very dirty.
It was really exciting looking. I think I want to get involved in a 5-way fusion at some point in my life.
We'd have to put a tarp down.
So, as for me, I have not been playing anything new. I picked up Rise of the Tomb Raider again to play, just randomly replay chapters, which I've picked a couple of chapters that I really like that involve a lot of either I can stealth it or action movie it. And that's kind of what I've been doing. The next couple of big games I want to pick up are Horizon Zero Dawn and Zelda Breath of the Wild. They come out within days of each other. So
That weekend's going to be busy.
I think February is going to be a pretty boring month for me. Maybe I'll pick up the Famicom Mini again and start going through more Zelda. I don't know, like the original Zelda.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Right? But anyway, on to our news for the week. So, Reggie Fils-Aime says not to worry about the small amount of Switch launch titles. Now, I don't know about you, but just reading that headline, I'm just kind of like, well, duh. Every console's launch library sucks. Usually, like, Nintendo's the only one that doesn't have a shitty library. Like, usually when they launch, there's like, here's at least one really good game, and here's the rest of the shit. Where, like, with PS4, Xbox One, and all that, there's like, here's a bunch of shitty games that came out way too quick for a console we don't know how to program for yet.
Right?
We didn't even get the PS4 until, like, February, and it came out in, like, November.
Yeah.
And we didn't pick up any of the launch games for it. We picked it up in February because of a game that came out in February.
That I needed in my life.
That was Thief.
Yes.
And pretty much for the PS3, we didn't pick that up at launch. 1, because it was $600.
Yeah, it was expensive.
And 2, like, nothing amazing was out for it.
I did get to play Heavenly Sword?
Yeah, Heavenly Sword.
Yeah, I mean, we played that
Yeah,
together.
I played that.
Yeah,
it could have been a really great game if they had fleshed out a lot more, but
Yeah,
I mean, it was enjoyable.
Yeah, I actually got that with my PS3 when I
Oh,
bought it.
did
You
you?
know, like me and Heather like traded off. Like she played all like the action, like God of War parts, and I played all the stealthy, like crossbow parts. Because she was like, fuck this stealthy shit, I just want to kill. And
Which is unusual, because usually it's the other way around.
Yeah, usually it is. And I was just like, nah, it's easy. Like, I'm just going to like fire at this dude, and I'm going to use the little motion controls on the PS3 to, guide the arrow into that guy's eyeball.
Right.
And,
I think that was the reason I didn't like it, was because, it was like you had to guide it.
Yeah, I was terrible at that.
Oh, I was awful at it. Yeah, a lot of people, I can see why, there's not a lot of launch titles, but honestly, the only launch title that anybody cares about is Zelda.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'm personally not worried, because a couple of days before that, I'm going to get Horizon Zero Dawn. And then, Zelda's coming out, so I'll have 2 really long games to play until Mario Kart comes out in April.
exactly.
And also, like last week, we pre-ordered our Nintendo Switches and Zelda. So I think we both only got the special edition of Zelda.
Yeah, the Master Edition, like, I was going to order from Amazon, and the Master Edition didn't even come up until, like, a day or so ago. And that's the one I wanted with the sword.
Yeah.
But the special edition has everything but the sword. And really, even though, like, the Master Sword statue thingy is really cool, the part about the special edition and the Master Edition that really caught my eye was the functional piece of it all. And that was the carrying case,
Yes,
the Sheikah Slate
exactly.
carrying case. The Sheikah Slate is what you have actually in the game, plus it functions as something to actually carry the Switch in. And, well, I'm just kind of like, be still my minimalist heart, in regards to that, is in the fact that it was, like, super functional.
Mercy me, I'm suffering from vapors.
I also remember I tried to get the Master Edition from Best Buy. I was able to add it to my cart, and then when I was about to check it out, and it said, this item can't be added to your cart anymore, it's been sold out.
Oh, yeah.
Which is kind of bullshit.
Bummer.
The thing about the Master Edition, I do have myself set up for email alerts on Amazon, because it is now finally available as a listing that says, you can't buy this. And if that does become available and I go to that page and it's there, I will go ahead and switch the special edition out for the Master Edition, just because, hey, that's pretty cool. But if I end up with just the special edition, whatever. Like, I'm really, if it weren't for that carrying case, I'd probably just go for the regular standard edition anyway.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, sure, it comes with the map and it comes with the coin that I already have. And,
Yeah, me too, and Frank.
And it comes with the soundtrack CD, which, the music, we were talking about the music on the Switch podcast that we did last week. That music is pretty rad. So I'm pretty sure I'll find at least one track on there that I'll listen to about 1,000,000 times in a row.
Yep. I'm prepared to hate it.
I'll put on headphones
Oh, okay. That's good.
and just walk around the house being all like dun da 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 da.
Then what's the point of you wearing headphones if you're going to be saying...
Because that's not the song.
Oh,
That's a different song.
Yeah, actually, what's going to be funny about E3, like, we're both going to have the same Zelda case, but it's a good thing I got the neon version of the Switch, so if you just open it, okay, so, like, we can tell the difference.
I'm gonna be sure to buy like some neon controllers and shit just so we can get them confused, and you'll be all like, "Wait, this one's at 100%, mine's at 100%. Whose is whose?" By
And we
June.
both named our character Link.
What?
What?
I'll name my character something really weird like waffles or potatoes or
Waffles.
something.
I like waffles.
Waffles. Yeah.
Waffle. Waffle, 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 waffle.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like the biggest deal in the world if I don't get the sword statue, but if I get an opportunity to get the special edition, I will. I mean, the master edition, yeah.
Yeah.
The special one's the one.
Well, and then like I was saying, like you get Zelda, you're not really going to care about other games. You're going to be busy playing Zelda. So
Yeah, that's
having
true.
a small launch title library isn't a problem.
Within days of Robot Dinosaur Zelda
I know.
coming out.
So basically, you could, we could be switching off. Be like, oh, I'm going to play some Horizon Zero Dawn. You'd be like, okay, I'm going to play some Zelda. And
Exactly.
you like get on the Switch and then I get on the PlayStation.
And then the
Perfect.
Switch controllers, like the Switch itself, like the main unit, is only going to have 3 to 6 hours of battery life. But the controllers are going to have up to 20 hours of battery life.
Oh, well then.
So,
That'll be making life easy.
Compared to our first generation PS4 controllers that we have that have
You have to swap out the controllers every half hour. To an hour.
I know, like that shit sucks. Like I have the lights dimmed and everything, and it's all like, oh, you fired 3 bullets in Tomb Raider. Please switch out your controller, asshole.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, there shouldn't be any worries about the games that are going to be coming out for the Switch, because there are currently over 80 games in development, and that's I assume is also including the games that were specifically mentioned, like, Xenoblade and Fire Emblem Warriors and stuff like that. And the games that weren't mentioned, who the fuck knows what we're getting?
Oh, and I also pre-ordered 1-2 Switch.
Did you?
Good.
Yeah,
yeah, we should.
That'd be
do
a fun little party game.
Yeah, I want that. I want to check out the Ice Cube thingy. That's what the HD Rumble thing. I'm interested in that.
Yeah, so hopefully when the Switch comes out, we'll make some kind of video on it. Maybe maybe an unboxing, or just us like playing.
Or we just have a big fucking party and be like, "Hey guys, come over. We got the Switch."
Yeah, come over.
Yeah, totally. Zelda's definitely not a party game, that's for sure. So, but that's definitely the one we'll be playing the most. But hey, if at least one person we know has 1-2 Switch, then we are good to go in terms of 1-2 Switch. Now, Frank, I know you have not pre-ordered a Switch, as you're just kind of like, it's not a PC, therefore I don't give a fuck.
I already have my PC, but
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I'll just be using you guys' until we move out.
Yeah, that's true.
Is it something like, when we move away from each other at some eventual point, is it something that, like, right now you're looking at, well, immediately I'll have to get one? Or is it one of those things where it's all like, I'll wait until Black Friday? Like what's...
Something like that.
Black Friday?
I'll wait till it goes cheaper, or maybe there's a new model of it, or... I just won't get it right off the bat, because who knows, it might have some faults in it.
Well, I know
Like the play, like
probably will.
Well, like the PlayStation 2, when it came out, like the first generations, they had some problems.
That's general with, that's pretty typical of any new console,
Yeah, but since you guys are going to take that risk...
We are going to take that.
We are taking that risk.
Yes, you are.
We're taking that risk hard. We're taking that risk really hard.
Hard and fast.
Hard and fast.
Hardcore.
Just bent over. Nintendo is just giving us that risk.
Just shoving it in your mouth and it's not letting up.
Exactly. I can't even breathe. There is snot and tears and everything.
No.
And you're not even going to get paid for it.
Ouch.
You're paying him for it.
I am paying for this experience.
Well, if that's what you're into.
So, again, we're talking about the Switch, and speaking of, I want to talk about the 3DS. Now, I know we have wondered, and I don't know if we've wondered on the podcast specifically, but we have wondered before as to whether or not the 3DS will suddenly become obsolete when the Switch comes out. And so far, what is Nintendo saying in regard to that?
Pretty much Nintendo is just saying that, well, it's not going anywhere, and they see the Switch as a home console that just happens to be portable and is capable of being taken out of the house and being used, in an outdoor party or on a train or a plane or whatever, while you're sitting waiting for the bus or anything of that nature. Whereas the 3DS is a portable console. That is the point. And so they have stated that the 3DS is not going anywhere, that they fully intend on having the 3DS and the Switch to basically coexist right next to each other. And they have already announced plenty of titles coming out this year for the 3DS. And another big reason as to why they're not going to be taking the 3DS off the market, aside from the new titles that they've already announced, is the massive library of games that are already available for it. And also, 3DS caters to a different kind of crowd, really.
8-year-olds?
Yeah. So
that's my experience anyway. I used to sell games at Best Buy for years, and the Nintendo 3DS was the most, just based on anecdotal evidence, of course, like just my experience of people coming in to my particular Best Buy in Orange County, California. The 3DS was the most requested console to be gotten every year. And before that, it was the DSi and the DS Lite and all that stuff. The DS line in general was the most popular line. So I really don't see it going anywhere. But at the same time, I am kind of skeptical.
I don't think it's going to go anywhere.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Well, I mean, now we've never had
No,
anything...
you also have to think about the price point here, is because the Switch is $300.
Yeah.
3DSs simply aren't.
Right. Now, we've never had anything like this before where we've had a home console that's also mobile. So that may change things up a little bit. But when the original Nintendo DS came out, the DS came out and Nintendo was straight up like, this is not replacing the Game Boy. Now, that's a handheld versus a handheld. But because of that, and because of the handheld features of the Switch, I'm kind of a little bit skeptical that the 3DS isn't going anywhere. Now, the price point thing, that's definitely, something. And the fact that it's also a home console, like, that's also something. But still, I'm just kind of like, they're like, the Game Boy's not going anywhere. And then, where'd the Game Boy go? Well, there weren't any more Game Boys after that because the DS was just that damn popular.
Well, like you said, that was a handheld versus a handheld. And then also the marketing for the Switch is towards adults, not children.
That's
Whereas the DS is built specifically to be handled by children who break shit.
Well, even then, like, the original DS was marketed toward adults, was marketed toward an older audience. The Game Boy line was still supposed to be there, and the DS was made with its clamshell and all that stuff, simply, so it would be harder to break. But like all the other little features on it, like the clock and the alarm and the little sending messages to each other and all that stuff was specifically for an older audience. And it just happened to be it became so popular amongst the older audience and the younger audience that they just said, well, no more Game Boy. And then as it just went further and further on, just more and more kids got into the DS line.
Fair enough.
And I'm just kind of like, I'm a little skeptical that the 3DS isn't going anywhere. But at the same time, this isn't really a situation we ran into before. So there could just still be a dedicated Nintendo handheld, whether it's 3DS or whatever. So.
Well, I think, the DS is easier to put in your pocket. I don't think kids are going to put the Nintendo Switch in their pockets that easily.
Not unless like really, really big pants come back into style like the 90s.
Yeah.
Jinkos.
Well, I was thinking even before that, like parachute pants. But yeah, Jinkos also.
I'm going to hide my Switch in my parachute
trip pants, from Hot Topic back in the day, like old Hot Topic.
I miss my trip pants.
And also the battery life of the Switch is, only 3 hours on the go.
3 to 6, depending on what you're playing and what settings you have it on and everything. I mean, like the 3DS, like not even the new 3DS, but just the regular ass 3DS XL, like that one is like 3 to 5 hours.
Okay.
So, depending on what you're playing.
I don't know. I still don't see, I know that you said you're just a little skeptical, but I still don't see it being a problem solely for the reason of, you're not going to send little Jimmy out with the Switch to play with his friends at the park. Like, you're not going to, you'll send him out with his 3DS to go play with his friends, because, like I said, like those controllers being detachable, holy shit, I wouldn't give that to my kid and be like, have fun. Like, oh, fuck no. I'm like, that's too damn expensive. Take the 3DS instead. Like, there's no way I would
for kids, it's going to be like, here, play this in the living room while I watch TV.
Right, exactly.
So
that's how I see it. A Switch is not going to be let out of the house in the presence of just a kid.
Right. I don't know, Frank, what do you think about the 3DS? Do you think that's still going to be something that's going to be relevant for a while, or?
Oh, they'll keep making stuff like that.
The 3DS and just general dedicated handheld consoles?
Yeah, they'll have their home console and they'll have their handheld console, like, for a very, very, very long time.
You don't think maybe even, like, any of you, like, you don't think maybe even, like, Nintendo's recent excursions into mobile might, have something to do with, might create some sort of internal competition toward their own handhelds?
No, I don't think so.
Because people will buy an Xbox and a PlayStation, so why not buy a handheld Nintendo and a home Nintendo? They're going to have different games because, well, it's been tradition for like a very long time.
Yeah, when it comes down to it, the games will be different.
Plus, I assume it's easier to make games on the 3DS than the Nintendo.
Just from power capabilities.
Power capabilities. You don't need to focus so much on graphics so that you can dumb that down.
So it's not going to cost nearly as much. You're not going to have as big of a development team, that sort of thing. Okay.
Correct.
So now I know we have been saying a lot of really good things about the Switch even since before it came out. But there is some bad stuff about it that I would like to bring up. And it looks like it's one of the topics that Ryan already found for us today. And we'll kind of use this topic to segue into some of the other bad things. I know if we were popular enough, we might eventually get called Nintendo fanboys or whatever. But Nintendo Classic Switch games, now remember during the original Switch presentation, we saw something about, you get your online membership, you get an NES game or an S. Well, one interesting thing about that differentiates it from PlayStation Plus or the Xbox Live Gold. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Xbox Live Gold is that after that month, you get to keep that game as long as you keep your membership. But for Nintendo, after that month, they take the game away. And you have to buy it after that. Now, that is about the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And I didn't know if any of you had heard anything about that until just now or just a few minutes ago before we started recording.
I know that I had seen some stuff online about, that the service is only going to be available for a month, or once you get the service, everything's free for the first month, and after that you have to pay, and blah, blah, blah. But, I figured it was going to be something along the lines of, you get to have there's a game or 2 or 5, every month that's free to play. And once that month's over, you got to buy it to play it after that. I figured that's what it was going to be.
Really? Because, pretty much every other online service out there that offers a free game every month, like PlayStation Plus, we have PlayStation Plus. Mm-hmm. And when we get a new PlayStation Plus game, as long as we continue paying that yearly fee for PlayStation Plus, we still have access to those games. Now, we don't always play those games going into the next month when we got some other game or whatever, but those games will still be there until we stop paying for it. Where Nintendo is all like, oh, Super Mario World with online play? Here, you can have that until April, and then you don't have it anymore. You've got to pay for it now. And that's just one of those things, a lot of people have been getting really mad about that. Now, we don't know the price point model for Nintendo's online service yet. It may be something really cheap, like $20 a year or some crap. I doubt it. But
highly doubt it.
If it is, then, sure, that kind of makes sense compared to, some of the prices you're paying for Gold or Plus or whatever. But I don't know, Ryan, did you hear about that before today? And what did you think about it?
Yeah, actually, I heard about it the day after the presentation. And I think it's dumb because, it makes sense for the first couple of months the Switch is out, since it's going to be a free online service, but then this fall it's going to be a paid online service. And if we're going to pay monthly, and it's going to be a monthly, not a yearly thing, so if we pay monthly, we should have the games for an indefinite amount of time. It makes sense. If Nintendo wants to be competitive with Xbox Live and PlayStation Plus, they have to let us keep the virtual console games for as long as we want, just as long as we're paying for the service.
Well, I would say that this is probably a way for companies to gauge, to see how people are willing to, see if people are willing to put up with the whole notion of, here's a game, you have it. Oh, you don't have it. We're sorry. Give us money again.
So you're gauging whether or not there will be that much of a backlash because of it.
Yeah.
And if there isn't much of a backlash, then wow, that suddenly becomes the standard model.
Probably, yeah, I absolutely see that happening because fucking companies and their fucking money grubbing hands.
Now, I had someone ask me about this a day or 2 ago. And they brought it up to me that this was going to be the thing, in a video talking about all the bad stuff about the Switch. Controller prices being too high, that sort of thing. And the thing that I pretty much told him then was just kind of like, well, if they're taking the ROMs back, like just ROMs that I probably have on my computer already, and I'm willing to pay for them anyway. If they're going to take them back after a month, I'm not sure whether I'll use their online multiplayer service at all.
Yeah.
Because
I probably won't in general, just because I don't
play that much online multiplayer to begin with.
Yeah,
I don't play any at all.
And like the main reason I have Plus is for discounts and for free games.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Like I do a little bit of online play, but not that much. And we're still going to have access to the eShop and things like that, where we can still download games if we don't want to get physical copies of them, whether we're paying for the service or not. So, what's the point of grabbing this stuff? And I'm not like sitting there going like, I'm super mad and but Nintendo may simply, after that point where they start charging for the service, I may simply opt out of charging for the service and not get it.
Yeah.
And just, treat it the same way I treated the Wii, or treat it the same way I treat my 3DS, where I go on the online shop once in a while and I go, okay, there we go. Like, I think the last time I played online on a Nintendo console was Mario Kart for the Nintendo DS. And I ripped off somebody else's Wi-Fi to do it. So
You're an awful person.
that was like 10 years ago. And
times were tough back then, Heather.
Wi-Fi was rare in Terre Haute, Indiana.
It was.
So
it was a desolate wasteland there.
Right? So I'm not mad about it, but what it's gonna come down to is voting with your wallet, and I will gladly vote with my wallet one way or the other. They let me keep the games, I'll probably keep paying for their service.
Yeah.
If they don't let me keep the games, then, well, I'll just buy the games because it's going to be old stuff like NES and SNES and whatnot. I don't have to go to IGN to find out how good Super Mario World is, or how good Link to the Past is, or how good Donkey Kong Country is, or how good Chrono Trigger is, or any of that
Chrono
stuff.
Trigger.
Yeah.
Like, you want me to, like, I know what I'm getting into with those things. Ice Climbers or Kid Icarus or Donkey Kong Jr., any of that stuff, nobody has to tell me how good that is and whether or not I need to spend $5 or $8 on it. So I'm not. It's not like the PlayStation Store or Xbox Live Gold, where I might be getting a AAA game or I might be getting a couple of indie games that I've never heard of.
Yeah, I definitely think that it's stupid, but in the end, it's not going to affect me because I don't really use those sort of services.
Especially with the games we're excited about, like Zelda, for example, like Mario Odyssey, things like that. Like, what kind of online crap are we going to do with Breath of the Wild?
Who knows? I mean, I know that I wouldn't do anything. If something was there, I wouldn't do anything with it. So having these services or not is not going to affect my quality of enjoyment of the Switch.
Well, even like I said like earlier, like I've been picking up Rise of the Tomb Raider again and going through the chapter replay elite like mode where I keep all my upgrades and I just go through the chapters and whatnot. Like, there are times where I'll turn the PlayStation back on from sleep mode and it's like, you're not connected to Square Enix's servers. You're not going to be able to upload your score for other people to see.
Who the fuck cares?
And I'm just kind of like, fuck it. I just want to shoot some guy in the face with an arrow.
Yeah, it was the same thing whenever we would play Arkham City. They'd be like, oh, you're not connected. You can't upload your scores. And I'm like, and?
I'm just like, fuck it. I just want to choke a guy
It's
out.
like,
and
the
hit him with a
only
batarang.
person I gave a shit to show my scores to was you because I was better than you.
By like 2 hits on a combo. That's like one person.
Yeah, well, fair enough, but
Last time I checked,
still.
that counts as being better.
Well,
Thank you,
last
Frank.
time I checked, you barely ever have anything to say, so shut up. So
Thank you for backing me up,
Keep
Frank.
doing what you're
I
good at, Frank,
appreciate
and
that.
shutting the fuck up. So, well, no, Frank, really though, with the classic games and all that stuff, I haven't really heard you chime in at all. What would be, if you were a Switch owner, would you pay for the online service with that sort of...
Well, it depends. Of course, like what you said, it depends on how much it's going to be. On one side, I can see it being a good model, I guess, because there are some games I can beat within a month and then not care afterwards.
That's true.
So, do you really care to have access to a game you beat and not care about later on, or you just want to see how it is for a month and then for free and not play it. Or if you really liked it, then you buy it because you're going to go back to it and play it.
That's true. I could see the argument against that, though, being that, oh, yeah, I did beat it like within 2 weeks or even just a couple of hours, but I still want it because I know I'm going to play it again, and then you never play it again, but you're like, oh, but I really enjoyed it. It's kind of like how we have stacks and stacks of video games in the bedroom right now in a tote that we're all like, oh yeah, if we don't pull those out, we'll get rid of them. And then there are some that we have tried to get rid of, but they're in too bad a shape and condition that places just won't take them, or they're for older consoles and they have, sorry, we don't sell those because nobody fucking buys those anymore. And it's just like we haven't just tossed them out. But then there's a whole stack that it's like we don't want to get rid of.
Oh, right, like Enslaved Odyssey to the West?
Yeah.
Like, you asked me about getting rid of that, and I'm all like, I almost like punched you in the face.
Yeah, I know, you got so mad at me.
Like,
and then you asked me if I wanted to get rid of Primal, and I was like, don't make me shank you.
Right, like that's like, and like those games, like we haven't played either of those games.
Years.
For like we probably, the last time we touched those games were like more than 5 years ago.
The last time I touched Primal was before I started college. It was before I met you. And
I would say it's been like, I was like I don't know if it was right before or right after we moved the last time I played Odyssey Journey to the West. But no, Enslaved Odyssey to the West.
You mean moved to California or moved to this apartment?
No, moved to California.
You played it not long after we moved here.
Okay.
You did play it once.
So it's been around 5 years since I've touched it.
And then like I also have a copy of Blood Omen 2 for the PS2. I haven't played that since I was like a freshman in high school.
Right.
But I will not get rid of it. I won't. I can't.
You
I've tried.
used to really have a thing about getting rid of games. Like, I'm just kind of like, here's this game you haven't played for 6 months, and there's this other one that you want coming out soon, and you're probably never going to touch this again. You're like, no, it's mine.
I know.
Like, you used to be like that.
But yeah, well, my family's a bunch of pack rats.
So, yeah. So yeah, I can get that.
Well, also, okay, let's be honest here. If it's only going to be NES and SNES games on the Nintendo Switch Virtual Console or the online service, whatever it's going to be called, there's a million other ways to play these games. Not all.
That's a very good point.
Which is part of why I was just kind of like, why am I going to pay for this?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And also, the reason why I'm on Xbox Live and PSN is because I can only get those certain games there, on their service. Where with the Nintendo Switch online service or Virtual Console, I have other ways to play these games. Not always legally, but they exist.
Right, yeah. That's a good point.
So if Nintendo's going to make me want to sign up for their online service, they really need to give me some really big incentive why.
Here's the first Splatoon.
Woo!
That sort of thing.
Oh, great. It will definitely fit very well on my on the Nintendo Switch's internal 32 gig memory.
Or rather than here's Shovel Knight.
Ooh, yeah.
Like, Shovel Knight's a good one. You didn't start playing that till recently, but
yeah, just recently.
But yeah. So anyway, going on from there, I didn't really get to expand as much into what I was talking about because we had so much to say about the 1 month limit, and we can come back and talk about the rest of the stuff next time. But Nintendo Switch, how much memory does it have to begin with? Like 32 gigabytes or something like that?
Yeah, only 32.
Which is garbage compared to like our PS4 that we have in the living room right here, which has 500 gigabytes, and that's not enough.
Yeah.
But
also we have a lot of games that are digital.
We do.
Those take up a lot of space.
We do have a lot of digital games.
Yeah, it's actually kind of the reason why I'm starting to go back to physical, because I'm running out of space on all my systems.
I mean, well, like, we have it still added in the library. I can re-download anything anytime. But it will be expandable, though.
Yeah.
And it's going to be expandable up to 2 terabytes. Mm-hmm. Now, a terabyte is 1,000 gigabytes or 1,024 gigabytes. So that's what, 4 times what we have on our original model PS4.
True.
Yeah.
And that will be through the micro SD XC cards, which the 2 terabytes aren't even available commercially yet.
And neither are 1 terabyte yet.
No, but there's you can get, if you wait for a good sale, you can get 200 gigs for $30 or something like that on Amazon or whatever. But yeah, the Nintendo Switch memory being expandable, of course, like it's really nice that it's not a proprietary model. It's not like the PSP or the PS Vita where it's all like, well, here's 26 megabytes for $300.
Yeah.
Hopefully you don't spend it all in one place, you young whippersnapper. You know, like, fuck you, Sony. And I don't say that often. Like, I really like Sony. But why? Why would they even have such little memory to begin with? Like, what do you guys think?
Well, I assume to cut costs, which is the most obvious reason. Although I find it weird because, like their competitors, the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One have no problem having 500 gigs or up to 2 terabytes, and it's included with the system. And they also have capabilities of you expanding with external hard drives, which go up to 2 terabytes. And we don't know if the Nintendo Switch will be compatible with 2 terabyte hard drives.
Okay, yeah. So the largest available SD card is 512 gigabytes. But that costs up to $200.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Let's see. Obviously, smaller capacity cards sell for less. And one thing here, it says that Nintendo Switch games are not required to install to system memory as PS4 and Xbox One games are. So that's going to help a lot out with storage. However, if you do end up, purchasing them digitally, that's going to take up a lot of space, depending on the size of the game. For instance, Breath of the Wild takes up to 40% of Nintendo Switch's onboard memory if you download it from the eShop. So you are definitely better off getting a physical copy of that.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, because I made the mistake of actually buying Smash Brothers digitally for the Wii U, and that takes up half of the space already.
Ugh. See, now, I know that we've talked about how digital games is great for the idea of minimalism and having less shit around your place. But now the problem that we're reaching is that we're running out of space and memory, and that shit is expensive as fuck. And you'd just be better off buying physical copies of the damn things.
Well, especially in the case of these Nintendo Switch games in particular, the game card is so tiny. You could probably, in the case we were talking about that comes with the special edition and the master edition of Breath of the Wild, you could probably keep 3 or 4 games with you in that thing. They probably have slots for and I haven't seen the inside.
I wonder how big the cases are going to be for these cards.
Looking at the cases, a lot of people have been comparing them to the cases for a PSP or PS Vita game.
Okay. See, that doesn't take up nearly as much room as, say, a case for a PS4 game or an Xbox game.
Right, because you have one full-size disc and all that stuff. So, that's probably the most surprising thing of 2017 so far is the fact that I'm saying, oh, good, Nintendo isn't using discs. When back in the days of the N64, we were all like, what? Why are you using cartridges, you idiots? But, considering how far game cards and card-based storage and whatnot have come since 1995-ish, that's, which I gotta wonder about loading times also on a card-based game, whether there's gonna be any real significant loading times or whether it's gonna be a lot like a Nintendo DS game or whatever, where you just don't see any loading times whatsoever. But with what was it, $200 for 512 gigabytes?
Yeah.
That's I wonder how many games you could buy for $200 for the Nintendo Switch.
Oh, okay.
That
I was thinking in terms of games being $60 a pop.
Well, yeah, we'll go with $60 just to be, 6, 12, 18, 24. So that's,
3.5 games.
3.5 games. 3.5 games. And...
Oh, wait, 3.25 games because all games are half games now because of DLC.
Oh, right. Yeah. And, patches for later and all that stuff. So, and you've got that, and then you said Zelda's a pretty big game.
Huge.
We'll just be, honest here. But using that as the model, because that's the only thing we have, you said that takes up, 40%?
Mm-hmm.
So 40% of 32 gigs is, we'll just say 12 or something like that. 12 gigs, 12, 24, 36, 48.
It is a lot.
So that's actually 48. So yeah, you could fill up, based on what sort of games you play, there's sort of a difference in value as to whether or not you want to drop a bunch of money on a 512 gigabyte card or whether you want to just buy the physical games, because you're looking at spending a similar amount of money either way.
That's true.
And then after you buy that card, you still have to buy the games anyway if you're going to buy them downloadable. That's one thing that like people who are going to be like trying to sell this machine really going to have to consider is, how are you planning on buying these games? Are you coming in to buy them for 8-year-old Jimmy on the card, or are you going to come in and buy Nintendo Store cards and eShop cards and handing them to him and going, okay, buy what you want. Oh, No More Heroes? Never heard of that. Should be okay. Senran Kagura? Perfect. I don't know, Frank. You're mainly a PC gamer. Like, how much storage do you have on your PlayStation? On your PC?
On your PlayStation.
Terabyte for the game hard drive, and I think about 256 for the a main hard drive. It's a solid state drive.
Okay, so with your 1 terabyte gaming drive, then that's the one I'm really concerned about. Like, are you coming anywhere close to filling that up at all?
It's more than half full.
More than half? Right now, is that with games that you haven't even touched yet, or is this games that you like really mainly play, or?
Both.
So
I haven't downloaded all the ones I've purchased though.
Okay.
So I have like almost 100 games I've bought on Steam.
Because I know when Steam when Steam comes along with their sales, you're just kind of like, buy all the games.
Yeah. You and Ryan are like that. Like, I'll get up and like I'll walk in the living room and Frank just turns to me. So Steam's having a sale. Okay. Because, I don't.
Heather's still playing like the same console game from like 3 years ago.
Oh, fuck off. Fuck off. You know what? I streamed last week and I waited until your ass went to bed for work before I started streaming because I didn't want to sit there and listen to you be like, about damn time, started playing sticks again. I didn't want to listen to it. So I fucking waited an agonizing long time until you went to bed before I started playing it.
You salty wench.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, actually, my gaming hard drive on my PC is about 2 terabytes, and I have a lot of games installed, and I'm still not even close to taking up all of it. I have about like 1.3 terabytes left.
I mean, I do have a bunch of computer games that I still need to play, and
yeah.
I mean, they're not like games that you guys play. I do like hidden objects and shit like that on the PC because I like those games. Fuck you, I don't care.
That's fun when you got 2 people or a person helping you.
Whenever I was playing that one, you would come home from work and sit down with me and help me find shit.
But when it comes to the Nintendo Switch storage, I don't think I'm going to buy an extra SD card right away, since I'm mostly going to buy the physical copies of games, and all I really need that 32 gigs for is like, game saves and maybe DLC.
Yeah. I don't think we'll be buying an SD card. We'll probably just get the physical copies.
Yeah.
Because like Josh said, you buy the card, well, you still have to purchase the game digitally.
Yeah, that's true.
So you basically paying twice.
If we find a good sale on a micro SD card, I'll jump on it. But I'm not going to go out of my way to sit there and shop for them and all that stuff. Like, I have one sitting on my Amazon wish list, and then the price went back up, and I was just kind of like, oh, whatever,
Well, I guess at most, I would probably get maybe a 64 gig. I mean, like, that should be enough for, any DLC or if I want to get virtual console games on there.
Fucking DLC.
Yeah.
God damn it.
That was really our last topic of the day. They were all Switch topics. Is there anything else that anybody happened to come across since the Switch presentation that they might want to talk about? Anything going on at all game-wise?
Well, I recall it was relatively easy for both of us to pre-order our Switches, but then after that they sold out.
Yeah, they sold out within, less than a day. The fact that you were able to just kind of casually tweet at me when Amazon had theirs up, and I was able to just kind of wake up and be like, oh, okay, bye. And then that was it. That was pretty crazy. And same thing with Zelda also, that I was able to go to it I don't know, 20, 30 minutes later and go, oh, special edition? Okay, bye. It's no big deal. That was definitely much easier than my experience trying to buy an NES Mini.
Yeah, and I also heard that Reggie Fils-Aime is saying that, like they're not going to have the shortage problems for the Switch.
I find that a little hard to believe.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be a problem at all.
They've always had shortages with all their crap. So, I'm not going to be surprised if it turns out they actually do have any problems.
Yeah, like once a day I see on like Twitter that you can like pre-order a Nintendo Switch from GameStop.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like once a day though, I think.
So fuck GameStop.
Yeah.
Why fuck GameStop?
You mean besides every reason to never walk through their doors again?
Yep.
Well, yeah, I meant like specifically.
Oh, because it's a hellhole, and fuck GameStop, and it was like the only place we could get games for the longest fucking time, and the selection sucked, and the prices blew, and selling something back gave you like 50 fucking cents.
Okay, there we go. I was looking for something like tangible right there, and that last reason.
Yeah. That's a pretty good reason.
Really sent it home.
Well, I went to GameStop for the first time in like 8 years, just a couple
I can't believe they still exist. I'm sorry, go on.
Yeah, like I went to GameStop for the first time in like 8 years, a couple months ago, because it was the only place offering a good deal if I traded in my PlayStation 4 for the PS4 Pro.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah, like they were offering like 150, but Best Buy was only offering like 125. So
which I heard there was a good deal going on also for trading in your Wii U and stuff like that.
Yeah.
In good condition there. So.
Well, I'm keeping my Wii U, so.
Yeah, well, like you have like everything. So. So yeah, that's...
Except money.
That's true.
Oh. Tell me, Ryan, do you choose to be poor? Or you just like being broke?
He likes not eating and playing video games. Those are his two big hobbies. So, anyway, that's really all we have to talk about this week. And it looks like we really don't have that much in the way of closing comments. So, we will see you next week on Waxing Pixels, hosted on Battle Geek Plus, a video games channel on YouTube. Hey, Ryan. There's other shows on Battle Geek Plus. What are they?
So the other shows we do are Battle Geek Plus Arcade Edition, where we go to actual arcades and play games. And if you are in the Anaheim area in California, there's a really freaking awesome arcade called Arcade 2084. You should go there. That's where we film most of our BGP Arcade Editions. And also we have Awesome Video Game Memories, where we talk about video games coming out every Sunday for classic games and hopefully Tuesdays for newer games.
All right, fantastic. And let's see. We also stream for Battle Geek Plus on twitch.tv/Battle Geek Plus. It's mainly Ryan. Sometimes Heather pops on, and every once in a while, maybe me.
So this week you can look forward to me streaming Resident Evil Revelations 2 in time for Resident Evil 7. Then all of next week will be Resident Evil 7 starting Monday night at 9.
I think somebody's excited.
Monday night at 9 Pacific time.
Pacific time.
So all you Eastern time people, definitely hop on at midnight, the creepy hour. Turn off your lights and watch Ryan scream his face off and piss himself at Resident Evil 7. And maybe send Frank over there to make it extra scary.
Oh my God.
I don't know if you guys know this, but when Frank watches a scary game, it's scarier than him actually playing a scary game.
That is true.
So
terrified the shit out of me. I was the one playing.
Right. So anyway, we're getting out of here. We'll see you next week. My name is Josh, and I will see you later. Heather?
Bye.
Ryan?
Later.
And Breath of the Frank.
Oof.